Morning. Thank you for joining us at 8:15 on a Tuesday. This is the first of a series of sessions that we have called, do I have to give you credit for the title? We've called them the Breakfast Brush Up Sessions, which I think is a brilliant title. And it's just a chance for us to get together and talk about the new Oak NSEAD Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 4 art and design resources. My name is Emily Gopaul, and I am the art lead at Oak National Academy for primary and secondary. And I've worked as an art teacher for nearly 20 years and worked in various other spaces to do with culture and education, all around the theme of art education. And I'm joined by Sophie and by Di. And I'll let you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you too. Di, do you want to start?
Shall I start? Okay. Hi everyone. I'm the programs manager for NSEAD, but I was also the project manager from the NSEAD side for our art and design curriculum with Oak. So me and Emily have spent a lot of time with each other over the past 18 months, haven't we? Over to you, Sophie.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Sophie Leach. I work as Deputy General Secretary at NSEAD. I'm also AD Magazine Editor, and NSEAD stands for the National Society for Education in Art and Design. We've been around since 1888. We champion art education. We're a subject association, an art educator trade union, and also something called a learned society, which means we publish resources including the Oak curriculum.
Thank you both. Yeah, absolutely. The NSEAD are just a massive community and a wealth of knowledge and support for art teachers in all phases. So um, one of the reasons we were delighted at Oak that NSEAD decided to be our partners for primary and secondary. So Oak, just to give you a brief kind of backdrop to Oak, you may have heard of during the pandemic. They very quickly, in response to the pandemic, made resources for teaching all subjects and then continued beyond that to be funded by the DFE and therefore embarked on making brand new resources for all the subjects, of which, of course, I am the art and design lead. And we then reached out in an open call for partners to work with us to create the content. And like I said, we were really, really happy that the NSEAD decided to apply. And of course, we ended up working together, like Di said, for the last kind of 18 years on this project. I think it'd be really nice for people to understand why. Why did the NSEAD decide that they wanted to be part of this project?
I'll speak about that if I can. So we really aligned to Oak's values. I think it's safe to say that we felt and we saw that Oak produces high quality, accessible, equitable resources and a curriculum which we felt was moving towards and looking at the 21st century. But we also liked the fact that it was exemplifying local curricula, local ideas, your schools, digging right down to what is important for your students. And we kind of aligned ourselves with that. We also like that Oak is a national platform. It would give us an opportunity. We believe that art, craft, and design is powerful, important, and is necessary. And we knew that by working with Oak, we'd have a really, truly national platform to really put across our vision and values for our subject. We also wanted resources to be diverse, and we knew that Oak has a commitment to diversifying the curriculum. So again, it was another reason, a really strong reason why we wanted to work with Oak. And finally, it gave us an opportunity. We felt we would have an opportunity to address our hopes, our aspirations for what became the CAR, the Curriculum and Assessment Review. And we saw in that review the potential for a curriculum that addressed the issues of the day, that might address environment, that might look at what is important, I've said this before, to your local school. And we knew that the Oak national curriculum and what we believe to be vital and important for your students could come through a really 21st century curriculum.
Thank you, Sophie. And I think really important just to state for anyone who doesn't know that the Oak resources are free. There's no subscription fee. There never will be. They're completely free for anyone to use. And the other thing, which I think some people don't realise, and especially speaking to what you were saying about adapting the resources, making them relevant for your setting, every single lesson comes with a slide deck, and we made over 500 lessons for primary and secondary. Every single one is adaptable and editable. So you can download the slide deck and you can delete, you can add, and you can really make it yours, which is, an incredible kind of starting point for anyone. Of course, you can use them as they are, but we would think that probably most people would make at least some slight tweaks to the lessons. Yeah, and that all speaks really strongly to, the strengths, Sophie, of what we've done. It was really nice to work with you as well because, of course, we have a pre-existing relationship. I'd worked with you on quite a few other projects, and I'm part of two of your groups, which we sort of got some information that also fed into the curriculum. So the UBE group, which is the United Black Art Educators Group, and ARIA. Do you want to just say a little bit about ARIA and the resources that were made with them? Because I know they were used as part of the auditing for the Oak curriculum.
Yes, thank you. We have at NSE a group, and we call it Anti-Racist Art Education Action Group. Formed in 2020, it's grown to 30 strong membership of educators committed to anti-racist art education. We created what is called the curriculum checklist, hugely and widely used across the UK. They interrogate and look at how is our curriculum or our publications anti-racist? Is it diverse? Does it decolonize the curriculum? And in what way? What's the language that we're using? So it's really helpful checklist or toolkit to start conversations about making sure that we are decolonizing curriculum, making it diverse, having representation. And it's essential for young people of today to see themselves in the curriculum. And throughout the Oak curriculum, every resource, we had what we call a rubric. So every single teacher, and that's nearly 30 or 20, 25, 30 teachers at different times, working with this anti-racist rubric to make sure that everything that we do, the whole curriculum, it has this as a foundation stone or cornerstone. It's essential that young people see themselves, and the anti-racist checklists were really right at the heart of the planning
Yeah.
and the resources that we've created.
Thank you. And that brings us to the team because, as I mentioned, it wasn't just me or a new Di, it was a whole team of people that we recruited to work on it. And lots of us shared, in fact, all of us share that advocacy point around decolonisation, but also lots of other points around variation in media and technique and all sorts of other things. So, will you tell us a bit about the team that worked on?
Yeah, we had a wonderful team, didn't we? There was 25 teachers in total who worked across the 18 months to support the kind of production of the curriculum. So when we put the call out for working on this project, when we were actually recruiting, we had hundreds and hundreds of applications of just incredible teachers that applied for these roles. So it was
And some of those teachers were artists as well, weren't they? So it's
yeah,
like teachers who have their own art practice and teaching.
yeah, we had such a mix of people that applied, and it was incredible, really. And I wish we could have hired everyone. I wish we'd had the time and the budget to hire everyone and get everyone involved because it was amazing. But yeah, we sort of we've hired in three stages. We had a real mix of specialisms. So each of the kind of areas of the curriculum was kind of produced by someone, and that was their particular specialism. So we sort of broke down the lessons and handed that across to people. We had, most of the people working on the project were teachers who had either just left school or were still working in school and did some work part-time and him worked with us part-time as well. We had artist teachers. We had a teacher who was working in a gallery. So we had a real spread of kind of voices and lived experience who worked across that project, which was just fantastic, actually. And it was such
Mm.
a positive environment to be working in, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we hired yeah, we hired in several stages. So in phase one, there's a small team working on kind of bringing a lot of research and a lot of kind of ideas around what we wanted this
Mm.
curriculum and stuff to look like. We had Paul Carney leading on the primary curriculum, and we had Marlene Wiley leading on the secondary curriculum. And Marlene was, is it co-author? Is that the right title for her? Co-author of the Visualise report. So the Visualise report, she's also part of the Array group. That was a really key factor for us when we were planning and pulling everything together, that we knew we wanted the Visualise report to be recognised across this curriculum. That
Mhm.
was so foundational important to us as well. So they're a fantastic team who sort of pulled together a lot of research, a lot of background of what this kind of dream curriculum could look like.
Mm.
And then we started phase two of production. Our production team started. And we had a fantastic team of people. I mean, I can't name them all, but we had, Claire Stanhope.
You've got a lovely page, haven't you, Di, on the website, which is
Yes.
about the team. So if people want
Yeah,
to learn more about those individuals.
definitely. And I'll put a link into that alongside this video
Mm,
that people can see. But we've got, yeah, a brilliant team. And we're going to be inviting a lot of the team to come and join us in these breakfast bus up sessions as
mm,
well, aren't we, Emily? So you're going to kind of
yeah,
talk to them a little bit more about their
yeah.
individual roles and what they were doing on the project. There's a chance to kind of hear from them directly. But we had sort of a really fantastic team of teachers working all across
Mm.
with different specialisms. So it's a really rich curriculum, I think. And I think we're all really proud about there's a lot of challenges with turning art and design into a online structured format, isn't there? But I feel like we all sort of look back at it now and say, wow, we've really achieved something amazing here, and we're all really proud of what everyone has done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Diane. I think, yeah, when we got to the end of the project, even though, like you said, it was kind of, it's pretty kind of challenging at times. Certain things came up that we had to kind of problem solve, which of course, as artists, we were quite good at doing. And the creators, one of the things that the creators did, which I think has made like such a huge difference to the look of and the feel of the resources, is making their own artwork for each lesson. So as well as making the slide decks and the videos and the quizzes and the worksheets, which come with every single lesson, the lesson decks are also full of these amazing artworks to exemplify whatever's going on in the lesson. And with that comes the kind of breakdown of the tasks and skills, which you'll also see in the lessons. Um, and like you said, that's so rich and diverse because we had this broad range of specialisms within our fantastic team. And I'd say that, each of the 500 plus lessons had a minimum of between 8 and 10 hours spent on it, which of course we know that teachers with the best will in the world to spend that amount of time developing one lesson is probably not going to be possible. So we're really kind of proud to say that we've done that work for you, and you can be really reassured that you're going to get this really high quality lesson. The diversity is in there in terms of the art and artists that are referenced. You've got practical skills broken down into really manageable chunks so that even if textiles, for example, isn't your specialism, you
Yeah.
can teach a textiles lesson to a high standard. And we've got, opportunities for oracy, for the students to talk about art, to discuss the art that they're making, lots of time for reflective practice, for them to look at their own work and do some kind of peer and self-assessment. So like you said, something that potentially some art teachers would be fearful that this would kind of flatten our subject. We absolutely have not done that, and what you've got is a really rich, exciting, diverse curriculum and or units and lessons for you to pick and choose from. So I'm really looking forward to my chats with all the different people that we've got lined up. Like you said, Di, we're going to have some of the creators, content creators. We're going to be talking to some other, resource and resource providers. We know that we're part of a very rich landscape, a community of art educators who really care about pupils and teachers and supporting them. So we're going to, on one of our sessions, speak to some other kind of organisations whose resources will complement and work well alongside the Oak resources, as well as, yeah, lots of other people who were involved on the project. So thank you for joining me. It's 8:31, so we've gone 1 minute over. But I think that was a really nice start to a Tuesday morning. And Di, do you want to just say anything about how people might access information about the other sessions or anything else you want to add, either of you?
Yeah, we're just finalising the remaining sessions now. So they'll all go onto the NSEAD website. If you're a member, they'll be shared out in every newsletter, and we'll also be putting stuff across social media. So hopefully across all the NSEAD channels, if you're not part of something, you'll be able to see something else somewhere. But we'll get that all up, ready and running to go. We're also looking at doing some kind of a bit more in-depth twilight sessions, Emily,
Mm,
later on in the year.
yeah,
So just keep an eye out for kind of announcements, and we'll share that everywhere we
absolutely.
can. And yeah, we've got a really
And
lovely group of people coming up to speaking with you, Emily. So,
absolutely. And share with us, if you've used the resources, if you looked at them, we were just saying before we started recording how much we love hearing how these resources are being enacted in schools and by teachers. So, you can probably find all of our emails on the various Oak or NSEAD websites. So let us know how you're using the resources. Um, we love to hear.
We've also got a lovely question in the chat about
Ah,
how people could contact us. And for sure, absolutely, you can contact people individually. And that would be, for example, Sophie Leach, Sophie Leach. I'll put that in the chat in a moment, at nse.org, or info@nsead.org. And Emily?
yeah, I will pop. I think, Di, will you be able to maybe pop emails in the
Yeah.
I can
recording
put,
somehow? But I'll pop
yeah.
mine in the chat for people on the call now. So it's emily.gopaul, Gopaul, at thenational.academy. And I've just popped that in the chat. But if you search any of our names, I'm sure you'll be able to find a way to get in touch with us.
And do ask questions. Do get in contact, and we
Yeah,
really do want to publish them. Any of your ideas you've adapted, our ideas that you've adapted, changed, or you've really enjoyed working with the curriculum, modifying it, tweaking it, whatever you've done, we'd love to hear from you.
absolutely.
We're also, sorry, I feel like we're like one more thing. And then I was going to say the sessions, Emily, that we're doing, if someone does have a particular interest or
Mm,
session that they would like to put together, or if they need particular help or support with something, feel free to message about that as well. We're very happy to kind of do more tailored sessions if there's an area that people feel like they particularly need support
absolutely.
in.
And I'm available to support schools and hubs and groups of schools and give them some guidance about how to use the resources. So do get in touch if you or your school feel like that would be something you're keen for. Okay, let's get started on the day.
Thanks very much,
All right,
everyone.
thanks everyone for joining. Have a good Tuesday.